California, almost 12,000 lightning strikes back some of the biggest ever wildfires in the United US state. The state government says the blaze are a result of climate change as people are all bullshit. Really. This year and the year before you had Australia, now you're having at the start of this year you had Australia. And now you've got California. Some of the biggest ever wildfires in California. On the same year where you also had some of the biggest wildfires in Australia, where Australia was burning. And it's all due to bullshit climate change. Of the thousands of years that humans have walked the earth, animals have walked the earth, it seems that the weather really has picked up in the past 10, 15 years. It's a bit odd, isn't it, really? It's almost as if it was geoengineered. Or deliberately set on fire by some psychopaths, but who knows? The state's governor says the blaze are a result of climate change, as people are told to have a evacuate. This is what they like to do. If you ever watched a show called Years and Years, it's BBC iPlayer, Years and Years. Please, if you've got BBC iPlayer and if you don't pay TV license, great, that's fine. But if you've got BBC iPlayer, please watch the TV show Years and Years. It is a show about massive, serious events happening especially in the UK, where stuff from like missile threats, where people get on the phone, a missile threat heading towards the UK, to terror attacks, to evacuations, to mass floodings, to power cuts. Loads of serious events happen in that time, to artificial intelligent humans. Please watch that TV show. It's from the year 2019, I think, to the year 2032, and throughout the episodes is a new year, and it's about a family living throughout that timeline, and you see how they get affected by all these so-called events that are happening, and you can just tell, even though they don't say it, you can just tell that that's what the government have planned for us. And that's why I think the world's going to get crazier. It just reminds me of that show this so much. People did get evacuated because they set off this thing called a dirt bomb in the TV show. On one of the last episodes, they set off a dirt bomb in, I think it was Leeds and Bristol. And that dirt bomb was said to have radiation in it. And because it had radiation in it, it so-called poisoned the cities. And everyone in those two cities had to evacuate. Then at the same time, they said that there was mass flooding like never seen before. In major roads were flooding, and like never seen before in the UK. And millions of people had to evacuate, and people with homes, I think with 3 or more bedrooms, had to make room for the refugees, because millions of people now in the UK were refugees. I think it's just something they've got planned. They've got something big planned, and this is only the beginning. The psychopaths, they did this. Wildfires in Northern California sparked by almost 12,000 lightning strikes have gone into some of the largest in state history. All weather, they control the weather. I know it seems a bit out of, if you have never heard of HARP or anything like that, or geoengineering, or the fact that they can set fire they get psychopaths, they're crazy. And they think the government aren't lying to you and they're not killers. I suggest you research. I'll do another video after this and show you something. One with them within a mile of University of California, Santa Cruz with residents. Yeah, I don't trust universities. I think there's some professors and whatever you call it that are part of the Freemasonic lodges with residents in the city being told of evacuation go bags already packed. Bulldozers have dug fire lines on the northern edge of the university's campus. Most of the fires are in San Francisco Bay Area. Do you know what? I've wondered about this. I've heard people talk about San Francisco and it being some big things happening there. You've got the Golden Gate Bridge. The biggest, known as the SCU complex east of the Palo Alto, is covering an area approaching the size of New York City. Across the state, at least 6 people have died, 43 firefighters and civilians have been injured, and more than 500 homes and other structures have been destroyed. About 175,000 people have had to leave their homes. There's a lot of people, nearly the size of a good-sized city, especially in the UK. You know, if you're in the UK and you know somewhere like, I don't know, Reading. I mean, that's a big town, I suppose, but Reading or Exeter or even Brighton, you know, quite a lot of people. Around 560 fires have been fought, and an area larger than the US state of Rhode Island has been burnt. The dry lightning storms are California's worst in almost 2 decades and have been driven by record temperatures which have parched the land. Last weekend, the temperature at Death Valley is the Mojave Desert reached 54.4 degrees. This is how they're going to kill people, you know. They talk about population control. If it is true that they want 90% of the population gone on this planet, they're going to do things like natural. They're going to blame it on Mother Nature, but they're going to do things like natural events like massive earthquakes, big hurricanes, big wildfires, and I think that's how they're going to kill a lot of people. That's one way of looking at it, as well as the vaccine or the whatever's in there, or you wonder why it's called Death Valley. Is it because it's deadly, or do you think there's another reason behind it? Oh. So yeah, it's crazy. 130 Fahrenheit, 54 degrees Celsius. I think there's been a mini one in the UK even. I wonder if that's a test. I think it was Suffolk, like last month if you search it. They're planning something big. This is only the beginning, trust me. The world is going to get crazy this decade. With the last few decades, you know, we haven't really been involved that much. We've seen crazy things on TV and all that, but if you turn the TV off, you don't notice any difference. But I think this decade's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be like going back to the war, World War One, World War Two, where we were actually involved in it, where it was a crazy time because kids were evacuated from the cities. You know, the government planned that. You've got to remember that they were working. All the countries around the world were working together. You know, the same bankers, the Rothschild, the Rockefeller, and we're all working together to. It's how they wanted to create the Zionist state of Israel. And the psychopaths, I don't care. They don't want people getting in the way. They will kill them off if it gets in the way of their agenda or it suits their agenda. It's been like that for a long time. It's becoming more frequent now, more noticeable. And this is going to wake people up, I think. Thanks guys, and I look forward to making the next video.